This is the Clutch Report, and I am your host, Jamal Bethia. Thank you for tuning in. You could have been anywhere, but you're here with me again, and I appreciate that. I've done a lot of Western Conference content, the Lakers, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Surging Warriors. To me, it's a little more interesting than the East Coast. But at the end of the day, let's swing back east for a second. We could be talking about the Boston Celtics, who I think are the heavy favorite to win the titles again. We could be talking about the Cavaliers, who certainly look like and probably feel like a team who deserve the attention to be title favorites this year. But we haven't seen them be that in the playoffs. We haven't seen Donovan Mitchell be the reason his team keeps going further yet. We could be talking about the Knicks, who for all intensive purposes last year just flat out struggled from too many injuries at the wrong time, including Jalen Brunson going down in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Pacers, or they would have at least made their Eastern Conference finals against the Celtics, and it would have certainly been a more entertaining series than what we got with the Celtics and the Pacers, right? But we're not going to talk about any of them today. We're actually going to talk about the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons deserve some love because the Detroit Pistons right now are doing a damn thing. They are. In their last 21 games, they are 15-6. They have literally flipped their season. Before that, they were 20-22. And even that was drastically an improvement, as last year they won 14 games the whole year. So to be 20-22 was already an 8-game improvement over last year, right? But in their last 21 games, they are 15-6. They are currently sitting at 35-28, and they are well in the playoffs. Right now, they are 6th. And if the playoffs started today, they would be slated to play against the New York Knicks. If it stays that way, I am going to be one of the first people to tune in for that series. I'm rooting for the Knicks. I'm a Jalen Brunson fan, and I'm watching Cade Cunningham get better. Not the fastest guy, but he's crafty. He gets to his spot. He passes well. He's averaging 9 assists. We'll talk about his numbers and how they've increased from last year, which last year was already impressive. But yeah, I just think they need a little bit of love. So, first of all, last year, as I said, the Pistons' record was 14-68. Horrible record, but it kind of had become, what we expected out of a Pistons team that really hasn't been good in like 2 decades. You've had a team or two here or there that's made the 8th seed and gotten swept, but they haven't been good since that early 2000s. Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. Since that team, they really haven't been a good NBA team. They haven't put a good product on the floor. And I'm not saying they haven't tried. They swung for the fences. They landed Blake Griffin at one point, brought in a free agent. And, they tried some things, right? But they have drafted well. I mean, they got Cade Cunningham. They got Jaden Ivey, who unfortunately had a horrible leg injury. And, he's out for the season. But they had Isaiah Stewart. They got Jalen Duren. I mean, they got some really good young pieces. And so I just want to give them a little bit of love. So right now they play 63 games at 35-28, as I said. Last year through 62 games, the Pistons were 9-53. They were 9-53 through 62 games last year. They just won their 35th game, right? So if we were evening up 62-62, last year through 62 games, they were 9-53. This year through 62 games, they were 34-28. That is a drastic turnaround. And that's why I think their coach should be in the running for Coach of the Year. Absolutely. That's a 24-game turnaround in one season. That just practically don't happen. I think the last time we really saw that happen was the Celtics between 06-07 and 07-08, when, of course, Ray Allen and KG joined Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce certainly deserving sidekicks for once in his career. So this is something to talk about. I mean, it really is. Like, to have a 24-game turnaround and you still have 20 games left in the season, I'm just interested. I mean, this is a team that beat the Celtics also last week by 10. I think it was 117-107. Please correct me on that. I am okay with that. But the point is, regardless what the point spread was, they beat the Celtics last week. When's the last time you can say the Pistons beat the Celtics? Was I alive? Like, I'll be 40 next year. Was I even alive? Like, it's been a long time since the Pistons can say they beat the Celtics in any individual game. You guys can look that up and drop that in the comments as well. But yeah, I just think that we really got to give them some credit on really flipping their season the way they have flipped their season. Jaden Ivey, before he got hurt, he was averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. He was also basically shooting 41% from three, which at that number means you're a sniper, right? So he was heavily contributing. Unfortunately, he got hurt. You know, so to talk about Cade Cunningham, I mean, he came in the league as a stud. We all figured he would be good one day. He came in the league averaging like 14, then the following season 19.9, and then last year he averaged 22 and 7. He shot 35% from three. Okay, that's pretty good. 45% from the floor. But this year he's improved. He's literally 25, 6, and 9. So from 22, 4, and 7 to 25, 6, and 9. And he's only taking 2 more shots a game than he took last year. But his points are up 3, right? This is a guy that literally is 80% and better from the foul line every year. His first year, I think he was 81%. This year, he's 86.9, maybe 87. Cade Cunningham's a stud. I'm watching Cade Cunningham. I'm rooting for this team. I'm a little worried about Isaiah Stewart, only because as good as he is, taught himself the three-point shot, very good. I kind of feel like he's a little bit Draymond-ish. He's a little bit erratic with the emotions and kind of, and I know sometimes we respect those kind of guys because they have passion and fire, but sometimes you got to learn how to douse it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's gotten in so many fights. I mean, the whole debacle a couple years ago with LeBron elbowed him to get him out the way, and it cut him and gashed him, understandably upset. But running around the court and then running into the locker room, it just was overdone. So I'm a little worried about Isaiah Stewart, but I like his fire and I like his passion. Again, I'm interested to see what they can do if they get into the playoffs. I'm just interested to see what they could do. Today is March 8th. I'm recording this Saturday, March 8th. Last year, by March 9th, the Pistons were out the playoffs. That's another very remarkable thing. Last year, this time, basically, let's say tomorrow, right? Basically, last year, this same time, they were officially out of playoff contention with basically a month still left in the season. And that's amazing to me, to literally be in a whole different situation than you currently are. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to be following them more as the season unfolds. I'm just interested to see what the last 20 games will look like for them. I really am, because when you talk about a 24-game turnaround with 20 games left, what's going to happen now? You know what I mean? I hope they can stick to that 6 seed, and I hope that with Jalen Brunson getting hurt, the Knicks don't slide but so far, or he doesn't miss but so much time. But I'm going to be honest with you. To me, that's the most exciting series of the first round, either conference. The most exciting series of the first round is going to be the Knicks and Pistons, especially because of the old school implications. Those 90s Patrick Ewing, Xavier McDouglas, those rough rider Knicks, and those rough rider Pistons. They have a lot of old school prestige and reputation that I just don't think we've seen recently. Even the Knicks really hadn't been good for a while, and they've been good the last couple of years, starting with getting Jalen Brunson from Dallas. Very good decision. I called Jalen Brunson's career. I saw it. I knew he could be money. I just figured he needed a chance. And he went to New York and proved every damn thing I said. So I'm proud of the Knicks turning their franchise around. I'm proud of the Pistons. And I'm just saying, I'm 30, I'll be 39 in July. I've been watching basketball pretty much my whole life. I talked in other videos about my father teaching my whole family, including my mom and my sister, basketball. So like the 2016 finals, all 3 of them were rooting for the Warriors. I was rooting for the Cavs. And when the Cavs won, I got up and ran around the living room. It was fun. You know what I mean? I'm a Warrior fan too. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Warrior fan too. But the point is, being able to watch basketball like that with your family is really fun. And I've been watching it for a long time. And in my lifetime, I've only seen the Pistons be good for like a 6-year stretch. I'm 40. I saw them be good for 6 years. That's really kind of bad. So to see the Pistons actually be good, I'm excited and I'm happy. So when I say I wanted to make this video, I really just wanted to give them some love. Like, hey, man, Cade Cunningham, keep pushing, bro. And truth be told, next year, if Jaden Ivey can make it back by the time the season starts, he's probably not going to make it back before the season starts. Honestly, given the severity of his leg injury, I don't know this for sure. I can't see him making it back before like December. And if they're smart, they might, depending on the Pistons record, they might save him to All-Star break. Just wait. That way, if they're in a good again, 5th, 6th, 7th seed kind of area. Maybe Jaden Ivey comes back, and if he gels well with them, maybe they can make a push towards the playoffs. That would be exciting to me, to really maybe see if you can get to the 4th seed. I would love a Eastern Conference that has the Boston Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, the New York Knicks, you know what I'm saying? And the Cavaliers. Like, when's the last time you've seen those teams be in the playoffs, right? I mean, we're not even going to talk about the Sixers. We're not even going to talk about them. Matter of fact, I'll do a whole video on the Sixers. That's a whole nother video. But I would love to see some of those old school teams. The Pacers are in the playoffs. The Knicks are in the playoffs. The Pistons are in the playoffs. The Celtics, the Cavs, like some of those early 90s old school teams. I love it because, sports go through seasons. It's ebbs and flows. And we had some down seasons where it was kind of like, oh, this guy, this team isn't good anymore. And you saw some other teams rise. I forget who said it. I think it was Kendrick Perkins. He said, when the NBA has the Lakers and the Celtics doing well, business picks up. And I agree with that. And I think because of the reputation of the Pistons, like the old school Pistons, the Raiders, and the physicality, there's kind of been like almost like a stain on their reputation. But when the Pistons are playing well, business picks up as well. So I'm just really excited for the Pistons and what they have going on. Coach of the Year definitely should be, the Pistons coach should definitely be in the running for Coach of the Year. They should. Of course, the Thunder's coach should be Coach of the Year. And maybe I'll do a video about Coach of the Year as well. JJ Redick should be in the running for Coach of the Year. The Cavs coach. To me, it's between the Thunder's coach and the Cavs coach. Those two should be in. It should be between those two teams who wins Coach of the Year. You know what I'm saying? But again, I just wanted to say, my hat's off to the Pistons and their organization and everything they've been trying to do and trying to turn things around. And they're looking great. They're already 24 games up compared to last year, and you still got 20 games left in the season. You know what I mean? That's just incredible. That's amazing. And actually, I'm doing the math incorrectly. They're 26 games up, 35 minus 9, right? At this point last year, they had 9 wins. This year, they had 35 at the same point. They were out of playoff contention last year, and this year, right now, they're the 6th seed. They're not even fighting for like a play-in. No, they're in it. You know what I mean? They're in the playoffs, right? So give them that credit. Give them that love. Shout out to the Pistons organizations, those hardworking players, because at the end of the day, you can coach all you want. If your players don't play hard, if they don't implement what you say, it don't matter. I'm a basketball coach. I know that, right? So at the end of the day, shout out to the Pistons and their whole organization. Peace.